So many actions are the bastard children of responsibility no one wants to claim. I've become an orphanage of resentments, looking for at least one apology to become a parent. I looked my dad in the eyes last night. I looked my dad in the eyes last night. I said I looked my dad in the eyes last night. He wasn't next to me on the roads I've traveled on, but still, like shotgun with no bullets, he was no pops. He was more like an astronaut. When it came to me, he loved the space. There was no playing catch on Sunday mornings. Every day was New Year's with him. He always dropped the ball. I was taught to never build walls, yet the wall is the only thing that ever threw the ball back to me. All jokes aside, after my father created me, he wanted to name me Jesus. It was as if he already knew one day I'd be dead to him. There were no piggyback rides. The closest I got to his shoulders was my expectation that eventually he'd let me down. Maybe he was saving his energy for far more important things because he acted like such an environmentalist. Like his son didn't need an outlet. He swore my mom would pit me against him, but in all honesty, I just never wanted to call him because my grudge tasted like silence. And how often is silence the native tongue of pain, of lonely, of broken promise? I spent so much time sleeping on his stomach as a child. How could I have not known? He was so full of shit. My father was Mr. Time Zone, because his hands were always in different places simultaneously when I would stay and visit with him the few times that I did. I remember he used to keep loose change around his apartment. It must have been his own way of reminding himself he needed to do so. I like to think I believe in God. But how convenient of me to leave out forgiveness every time I think of the man that made me. I don't want to be angry anymore. It's too easy. Saying I never knew him gets old. Is baggage still baggage if I'm the one that chooses to pack it? I've made a map of his faults, thinking that would help me find him, the real him. I've outlined his mistakes too many times. I've called him Shadow without ever asking why he was so dark in the first place. I've called him absent, like I never chose to not show up for something important myself. I made it seem like I never started something I didn't finish. How many beaches does it take to prove there was an ocean? In other words, how much bitching does it take to prove how much I cried? Since once those tears fell off my face, they became water under the bridge anyways. Maybe I deserve this feeling if that's where I choose to swim. The phone I wrote this shit on is the same one I act like I don't know how to use. I go out of my way to read about celebrities and the speculations I have about their lives and their addictions, and have no clue about why my father had his own. My he could have done betters are getting too heavy. Blame is too steady to remember he used to love cigars, and I could be like his ashtray. Either put him out or help him handle his fire. I saw the little boy in his loss, the regret in his vacant, the age in his hands. I imagine how often the age must show up now in the bathroom, and the times he misses the toilet, and the reaching for the alarm clock. I saw the son he was, and I was waiting for him to smile. But how dare I call him the coward, though, when there I was, in my room at 2 a.m., by myself, magnifying his picture on my phone, so I could stand here and tell you guys that I looked my dad in the eyes last night. That I looked my dad in the eyes last night. That I looked my dad in the eyes last night without him ever knowing that I'm thinking of him.